Hey guys! So I get a ton of questions about what the best type of watercolor paper is to use. So I thought I'd make you a little video and just show you instead of telling you. If you're a beginner, I really recommend cold pressed. And what that means is that it's going to be a little bit bumpier or more coarse than other types of paper. I don't know if you can see that grain on there. So it's a little bit more forgiving. The water doesn't dry as quickly and you can kind of move it around, or if you make a mistake, you can get a little bit of paper towel and just soak up all that paint and that water. And I really love these Arches blocks. You can see that they're bound down the side, or they kind of use a gum to keep it all together. And that means that you don't have to wet, stretch, and then dry your watercolor to keep it from buckling, because it's already stretched tight and it's kind of kept in that block. So you just paint right on it, and then when you're done, you go in, where's the little edge bit? Sorry about that. Oh, it's up here. You go in and you just use like a butter knife or a palette knife or something, and you separate the pages and you just pull that glue open. Once you have kind of got the hang of watercolor, you might want to move to a hot pressed paper or a green sateen, which is just super smooth. There's no bumps, no coarseness at all. So it's great if you want to scan in your paintings, but it's a lot less forgiving than the cold pressed paper is. While it's not the best paper, I have a lot of these Strathmore watercolor just pads, I guess, and because they're not sealed on the edges, there's a chance that they could buckle, but they're also very, very thick, as you can see. They're fairly smooth, so if you're just playing around, getting the hang of it, these are a lot less expensive than the Arches blocks, so you might want to give those a try. I also use a lot of sketchbooks. This is a Moleskine, so it looks just like this on the outside. The paper is not very thick though. Let me show you. It's pretty thin. So if you wanted to use a big wash of color, you definitely get some buckling, and then your paint would pool in certain areas, and it may not give you quite the effect you want, but it's great for sketching little bits of watercolor like this. I did one on the other page. I don't know if you can see there, even with just the amount of water that I used on this one, there's a little bit of buckling on the page. But I do love the convenience of the Moleskine books. They lay totally flat, which is great. I also really like these watercolor sketchbooks. I think it's a Canson, oops, but I took the sticker off the front, so I'm not totally sure, but it's ring bound, so you can open it all the way up. It's a fairly thick paper. It definitely does still buckle a little bit. You can see that this isn't lying flat. But, you know, again, these are cheap, they're portable. I quite like the paper in these, and I use these sketchbooks quite a lot. You can also buy the Arches paper in really big sheets. This sheet was kind of as big as my desk, and I just cut it up into more manageable pieces. So it's really nice quality, but again, you would have to stretch this, or else as you're painting, it'll just buckle and warp the whole time. So I think that's it. Those are all of my recommendations. For sketchbooks, the Canson or the Moleskine. For cheap paper, these little pads are really good. And then for the good stuff, I always like Arches. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.